It costs more than a penny to make a penny. It's a strange paradox, but in today's world, the 1-cent coin, meant to symbolize thrift, utility, and economic sense, has become one of the most hotly debated topics in modern currency. Welcome to the world of penny politics, where economics, tradition, sentiment, and policy collide. For over 2 centuries, the cent served America faithfully. It bought bread, newspapers, stamps, even a phone call. But as the 20th century gave way to the 21st, the penny's economic foundation began to crumble. The problem? Metal prices. Modern pennies are no longer made of pure copper. Since 1982, they've been primarily zinc, with just a thin copper coating. But even with this change, the production cost still exceeds 1 cent. In some years, the cost to mint a penny has been 1.8 cents, nearly double its face value. Multiply that by the billions of pennies minted each year, and you have a significant drain on taxpayer dollars. It's simple math. We are literally throwing millions of dollars away every year just to make a coin that no longer holds practical value. But if the math is so clear, why does the penny still exist? The answer lies in a mix of lobbying, nostalgia, and a little bit of good old-fashioned American tradition. The zinc industry, for one, has a vested interest in keeping the penny alive. Zinc is the primary metal in modern sense, and lobbyists have fought hard to ensure its continued use. Then there are organizations like Americans for Common Sense, who argue that eliminating the penny would hurt consumers, leading to price rounding, inflation, and economic inequity. They point to psychological pricing, the famous $9.99 instead of $10, and warn that removing the penny could subtly raise prices across the board. Would everything be rounded up? Would consumers actually lose money over time? Critics say these fears are exaggerated, that digital payments and credit cards already dominate commerce, and cash-based rounding has worked smoothly in countries like Canada, Australia, and New Zealand. Canada, for example, eliminated the penny in 2013. Transactions are now rounded to the nearest 5 cents, and the system has worked remarkably well. No major inflation, no consumer revolt. So why not the US? Because the penny isn't just about price points. It's about symbolism, Lincoln's face, a sense of continuity, a connection to national history. To eliminate the penny feels, to some, like erasing part of America's soul. No way. It's Lincoln. You don't just throw that away. It's kinda useless, sure, but it just feels wrong to get rid of it. Honestly, I never use them. They end up in a jar or on the ground. The debate cuts across party lines, demographics, and ideologies. Even the US military has weighed in. In 1980, overseas bases began rounding cash transactions to the nearest 5 cents, citing the penny's declining utility. Then there's the environmental argument. Zinc mining, energy consumption, waste. Billions of pennies are produced each year, many of which are lost, hoarded, or discarded almost immediately. In fact, studies show that over 60% of pennies minted in the last 40 years are no longer actively circulating. They are in drawers, in jars, on the ground. So we are paying to make coins that most people don't use. Several Treasury secretaries, under both Republican and Democratic administrations, have floated the idea of eliminating the penny. But Congress has yet to act. Why? Because legislation that touches tradition is often politically risky, and few lawmakers are eager to be known as the one who killed the penny. The truth is, the penny represents more than economics. It's a crossroads between the past and the future, cash versus digital, sentiment versus efficiency, tradition versus innovation. And like so much in America, the debate remains unresolved. Whether we keep it or let it go, one thing is certain. The penny has sparked conversations far bigger than its size. It's a lightning rod, a cultural touchstone, a mirror of American values in miniature. The 1-cent coin is not uniquely American. In fact, small denomination coins have played a vital role in economies around the world, each reflecting its own society's values, struggles, and choices. As we explore these global cousins of the American penny, we find a common pattern: tiny coins with outsized cultural weight. Take Canada, for example. For decades, Canada's 1-cent coin mirrored its southern neighbour, copper-toned, widely circulated, and bearing familiar colonial imagery. But by 2012, the costs became unsustainable. Like the US, it cost more than a cent to produce a cent. The Royal Canadian Mint made a bold decision. They stopped making it. On February 4, 2013, the Canadian penny was officially withdrawn from circulation. Cash transactions were rounded to the nearest 5 cents. And just like that, a centuries-old fixture vanished from wallets, pockets, and cash registers, with barely a ripple. At first, it was weird. But now, I don't miss it. My change is lighter. Not only did the sky not fall, it actually made sense. Literally, Canada saved millions in production and handling costs, and the public adjusted quickly. But Canada was far from the first. Australia dropped its 1 and 2-cent coins in the early 1990s. New Zealand followed. The Netherlands, Brazil, and Israel all phased out low-denomination coins as inflation eroded their value. Even the Eurozone, known for its complex currency system across 19 countries, has joined the conversation. While the 1 and 2 euro cent coins are still legal tender, many countries, like Finland, Belgium, and Ireland, have adopted rounding rules in everyday transactions. Retailers round cash purchases to the nearest 5 cents, while digital and card payments remain exact. The coins remain, but their practical use is quietly fading. Why? Because as economies grow and prices rise, low-value coins simply lose their purpose. A cent may once have bought a candy, a tram ticket, or a cup of tea. Today, in much of the world, it buys nothing. But not every country has let go of its tiny coin. Japan, for example, still uses the 1 yen coin, despite similar debates. And in India, the 1 paise coin, once a vital part of everyday trade, has vanished completely, phased out in 2011 after becoming economically meaningless. In every case, the story is the same. Inflation rises, values shift, and coins lose relevance. But they remain, at least for a while, as symbols. And that's what ties them together, a shared symbolism that transcends borders. The 1-cent coin, in all its global forms, often features national icons. The maple leaf in Canada, the Southern Cross in Australia, the oak twig in Germany's Eurocent, and of course, Lincoln in the United States. These coins aren't just currency. They are identity in metal, pride, memory, legacy. Coin collectors, or numismatists, treasure these small denominations for their intricate designs and vanishing presence. When a country ends its cent coin, it often sparks a collector boom. Suddenly, a coin once ignored is a piece of history. Errors, varieties, and last year issues become valuable. Commemoratives become keepsakes. The cent, once overlooked, becomes sought after. They're time capsules. They tell you what a country looked like, what it valued, and how it saw itself, all in the space of a fingertip. And so the 1-cent coin lives on, not just in America, but across the world. Sometimes active, sometimes retired, always remembered. They've traveled in pockets across oceans, slipped into cracks in sofas, fallen into fountains for wishes, and in their silence, they speak volumes. Whether it's a 1 paise, a 1 yen, a 1 euro cent, or a Lincoln penny, these coins remind us of a time when every cent counted. Now, we are left to ask, does it still? It's easy to overlook a penny on the sidewalk, but in the right year, with the right mark, that forgotten coin could be worth thousands. Welcome to the world of cent collecting, where hobby meets history, and small copper coins become priceless artifacts. Numismatics, the study and collection of coins, has long had a fascination with the humble cent. In fact, many collectors begin their journey with a single Lincoln penny plucked from pocket change. And why not? The cent is affordable, common, and historically rich. But beneath the surface lies a treasure trove of rarities, errors, and hidden gems. Let's start with one of the most famous pennies of all time, the 1909 SVDB. Minted in San Francisco, this was the first year of the Lincoln cent. bearing the initials of its designer, Victor David Brenner, on the reverse. Only 484,000 were struck, making it one of the lowest mintages in cent history. Today, a 1909s VDB penny in pristine condition can sell for $1,500 to $5,000 or more. Next comes the 1955 doubled die, a minting error that created doubled lettering on the obverse. The result? Lincoln's profile looks echoed. The words "Liberty" and "In God We Trust" appear duplicated. It was a mistake, but collectors fell in love. Today, a genuine 1955 doubled die can fetch $1,000 to $15,000, depending on condition. And then there's the 1943 bronze penny, a true unicorn. In 1943, the US Mint switched to steel cents to conserve copper for the war effort, but a few leftover copper planchets were accidentally used. Only around 20 copper 1943 pennies unknown to exist, and one famously sold at auction for over $1 million. From a coin worth 1 cent to a fortune. For new collectors, a few key details can turn an ordinary penny into a treasure. A mint marks D for Denver, S for San Francisco, and no mark for Philadelphia. Certain mint marks are much rarer in specific years. A die errors, these include double dies, off-center strikes, die cracks, and cut breaks. A transitional errors, pennies struck with the wrong metal composition. For example, some 1982 cents were made with both copper and zinc, and differentiating them can be valuable. How can you tell the difference? Weight is key. Copper cents weigh 3.11 grams, while zinc cents weigh 2.5 grams. A small scale can reveal a lot. Why do people collect pennies? For many, collecting pennies starts in childhood, filling out those classic blue Whitman folders, searching for that elusive 1914 day, or the 1922 no day. But the passion often endures. It's the thrill of the hunt. You never know what you'll find in your change. And every coin has a story. Cent collecting connects us to the past, to the mints that struck them, the hands that spent them, and the events they silently witnessed. A 1918 wheat penny may have passed through the pockets of a World War I soldier. A 1964 cent could have rung through a diner register the night the Beatles came to town. Each cent is a witness, a silent participant in a living economy. What about modern pennies? Are they collectible? The answer is yes, if you know what to look for. Key dates like the 2009 Lincoln Bicentennial Series, which featured 4 reverse designs telling the story of Lincoln's life, are already gaining popularity, and error coins continue to surface in modern minting, some worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars if certified by grading services, like PCGS or NGC. Condition is everything. A cent in MS67 or higher, mint state, can dramatically exceed face value. Even a common year, if perfectly struck, becomes rare. Want to see cent history up close? Coin museums across the country display rare specimens, including the legendary 1943 copper cent, early large cents from the 18th century, and high-grade Lincoln sets. These coins aren't just currency, they're artifacts. The penny tells America's story, from liberty and industry to wartime, shortages and design revolutions. Interested in collecting cents yourself? Here's how to start. 1. Gather your pocket change. Look for old wheat cents, error coins, and anything pre-1982. 2. Get a coin folder. Start filling in dates and mint marks. 3. Use a magnifier and scale. Subtle differences can be valuable. 4. Visit coin shows and shops. Talk to dealers. Learn from other collectors. 5. Consider grading rare finds. Professional certification adds value and protection. You don't need a big budget. You just need curiosity, patience, and a sharp eye. Because hidden in the most ordinary places, a grocery store till, a coin jar, a public fountain, are cent coins that may one day be worth far more than face value. Collecting the cent is more than a hobby. It's a journey through time, a bridge between generations, a reminder that even the smallest things can carry the greatest value. So the next time you see a penny on the ground, pick it up. You just might be holding a piece of history. It's the smallest coin in the modern American wallet. Yet the 1-cent piece has found its way into the biggest corners of our imagination. From movies and music to folklore and superstition, the penny has embedded itself in popular culture like no other coin. It's more than currency, it's symbolism. We all know the saying, find a penny, pick it up. All day long, you'll have good luck. Where did this superstition come from? It dates back centuries, when people believed metal had protective powers. Finding a coin on the ground wasn't just good fortune. It was seen as a sign from the divine. And while we may not believe in magic today, that little rhyme still brings a smile to our faces. Of course, if it lands tails up, tradition says, leave it be, unless you turn it over for the next person. Few coins have inspired music like the penny. In 1936, Bing Crosby crooned the timeless classic, Pennies from Heaven. Every time it rains, pennies from heaven. The song became an anthem during the Great Depression, offering a glimmer of hope in dark times. A single penny, falling from the sky, was a symbol of joy in the bleakest of days. The song's popularity sparked covers, adaptations, and even a Hollywood film starring Steve Martin, proof that the humble cent could hold cinematic power. In modern music, pennies symbolize lost love, fleeting luck, and small moments that carry deep meaning. In film, the penny often appears as a metaphor for chance, memory, or destiny. In Forrest Gump, Forrest says, life is like a box of chocolates. But in one deleted scene, a penny falling from the sky is used to symbolize the randomness of life. In The Lucky Penny, a short indie film, a found coin sets off a chain of events, romance, loss, and ultimately hope. The penny becomes a talisman, a turning point, a narrative device that speaks without words. Even in animated films, like Up, Toy Story, and Zootopia, pennies make cameo appearances, nods to nostalgia, to childhood, and to value beyond money. From bedtime stories to classroom lessons, pennies have played their part in literature too. In the children's book The Penny Pot by Stuart J. Murphy, kids learn about math, saving, and generosity through the simple act of pooling their coins. In 1 cent, 2 cents, old cent, new cent by Dr. Seuss, with help from the Cat in the Hat. The cent becomes a gateway to learning about money itself. Teachers across generations have used pennies to teach addition, subtraction, history, and economics. And in young adult fiction, the penny has taken on deeper themes of forgotten value, of being overlooked, and of standing the test of time. With fame comes folklore. The penny is no exception. In urban legend, a lucky penny is said to protect from harm, attract wealth, bring love. Some say if you give someone a penny with a gift, like a wallet or a knife, it ensures the friendship won't be cut. Others drop pennies into fountains, a tradition dating back to ancient Rome, hoping for wishes to come true. And let's not forget the penny on the railroad track, a daring childhood game immortalized in countless stories and shows. Though romanticized, it's also dangerous and often illegal. Still, the image lingers, a coin flattened by time and metal, a memory frozen in copper. Artists too have been drawn to the penny. Contemporary creators use thousands of cents to build portraits, floors, walls, even entire vehicles, transforming small, common coins into large-scale expressions of meaning. Some arrange pennies to form Abraham Lincoln's face, while others use oxidation, the natural green-blue aging of copper, as a color palette. In art, the penny becomes more than a medium. It becomes commentary on value, waste, memory, and permanence. A penny saved is a penny earned. Often attributed to Benjamin Franklin, though likely paraphrased. Look after the pennies, and the pounds will look after themselves. English proverb. The penny is the soul of small beginnings. Modern interpretation. The penny has inspired sayings and idioms that still guide how we think about money, thrift, and effort. It's not just about wealth. It's about discipline, diligence, and small actions with big impact. Why does the penny keep showing up in our culture? Because it's accessible, universal, timeless. It's a symbol of modest beginnings, of hidden value, and of hope in the face of scarcity. In an age of credit cards, digital wallets, and cryptocurrency. The penny endures in our stories, our art, and our memories. A copper circle. 1 cent. Yet it holds a million meanings. It's the coin we all recognize, the 1 cent piece. But behind its familiar face lies a deep national question. Should the penny still exist? For more than 2 decades, the debate over the US cent has intensified, not just among economists and politicians, but among everyday citizens. Some say it's a cherished tradition. Others say it's a costly relic. Today, we ask, is it time to say goodbye to the penny? Here's the surprising truth. It costs more than 1 cent to make a 1 cent coin. In recent years, the cost of producing a penny has hovered between 1.7 and 2.5 cents, depending on copper and zinc prices. Why? The US Mint uses a copper-plated zinc composition. While copper makes up just 2.5% of the coin by weight, it contributes heavily to costs. Add labor, equipment, and distribution, and the US government loses millions each year just to keep the penny in circulation. In 2023 alone, the Mint lost over $130 million on cents and nickels combined. That's taxpayer money, lost on coins we often leave in jars or toss aside. Time is money, and pennies take time. Studies show that transactions involving pennies take 2 to 4 seconds, longer than those without them. That may sound small, but over millions of transactions a day, the time lost adds up. And think of the retailers. Counting, storing, and transporting pennies costs businesses billions annually in labor and bank fees. They pile up. We bag them, roll them, send them back. It's a hassle, and most people don't even want them in their change. America is far from the first to face this question. Canada retired its penny in 2013. Australia did the same in 1992. And New Zealand, Brazil, Sweden, and others have followed suit. In each case, prices were rounded, usually to the nearest 5 cents, for cash transactions only. Digital payments remained exact. And guess what? Inflation didn't spike. The public adapted quickly. Businesses saved money. And no one really missed the penny. We thought it'd be a big cultural shock. It wasn't. It just made life easier. One of the biggest concerns about eliminating the penny is rounding inflation. The fear, without pennies, stores will always round up. And consumers, especially the poor, will pay more. But real-world studies show a balanced effect. Rounding evens out over time, sometimes up, sometimes down, but rarely significant. In Canada, research found no measurable consumer harm, and retailers actually improved pricing transparency by rounding off odd totals. Still, public trust is crucial. Any move to eliminate the penny would require strict rounding, laws, and consumer protection. But not all arguments are economic. The penny is a symbol of thrift, of childhood, of tradition. It carries the face of Abraham Lincoln, a president revered for unity, leadership, and emancipation. His presence on the penny isn't just design, it's meaning. And for millions, the penny represents nostalgia, first savings, coin collections, the jingle in grandpa's pocket. Eliminating the penny feels like losing part of our history. It's not just change, it's a legacy. Some argue we don't need to eliminate the penny, just remake it. Ideas include using cheaper metals like aluminum or steel, digital-only pennies in electronic systems, or minting far fewer pennies, reducing annual costs. But each idea comes with trade-offs: durability, vending machine compatibility, and public trust. Changing a coin isn't just economics. It's about infrastructure, technology, and culture. As digital payments surge, the role of physical change, including pennies, is shrinking. In 2025, nearly 80% of retail transactions are digital. Young consumers rarely carry coins at all. Even parking meters, vending machines, and toll booths are going cashless. So the question isn't just should we keep the penny? It's how much longer will we use physical money at all? Public opinion on the penny is divided. May 2022. Harris poll found 55% favored keeping the penny, while 41% supported eliminating it. Among younger Americans, the tide shifts. Most under 30 support retiring it. And among economists, A whopping 76% say it's time for the penny to go. Still, inertia is powerful. Congress has considered bills to eliminate the cent, but none have passed. The penny represents a larger debate. How do we honor tradition while adapting to the future? Keeping the cent preserves our history, Lincoln's legacy, and cultural memory. Retiring it could save millions, simplify commerce, and reflect a world where coins are no longer king. There's no simple answer, only a balance to be struck between head and heart. The penny has endured for over 230 years. It survived wars, recessions, metal shortages, and revolutions in commerce. But its fate now lies not in history, but in our hands. It's just 1 cent, one small coin. Yet in its lifetime, the penny has come to embody the spirit of a nation. From the minting tables of colonial America, to the war years, the Great Depression, and the digital age, the US 1 cent coin has weathered every chapter of American life, a witness in metal to the unfolding story of a people. And now, as we look back on more than 230 years of history, we ask not what the penny is worth, but what it has meant. Born in 1793, the first large cents were symbols of a new republic, oversized, heavy, and full of idealism. As the country grew, the penny shrank in size but grew in significance. It became a teacher of math and money to school children, a silent comfort during economic hardship, a collector's prize for generations, and a reflection of change, both economic and cultural. With each redesign, Liberty, the Indian head, Lincoln's profile, and the modern shield, the cent has mirrored the priorities and values of its time. We often overlook the penny, yet it has taught us so much. It taught generations to save, 1 coin at a time, respect history, especially Lincoln's legacy, or understand that even the smallest things matter. A single cent may be nearly valueless in today's economy, but in stories, in symbolism, and in memory, it is priceless. How many life lessons began with the words? It all adds up. The penny has always been in flux, gaining, losing, and regaining meaning. During World War II, it became a tool of wartime sacrifice, minted in steel to save copper for bullets. During the Great Depression, it was a sign of hope. The last coin in a man's pocket could still buy a loaf of bread. In modern times, it's been a source of frustration and debate, yet also of art, activism, and education. The penny's value is not static. It evolves with society, with culture, and with us. What makes the penny so compelling is not its purchasing power, but its symbolic weight. A free nation's earliest coin, a memorial to Abraham Lincoln, a statement of resilience. It reminds us that America was built not just by titans of industry and towering legislation, but by small steps, tiny savings, and humble beginnings. The penny tells us that even a little effort matters, that progress is built 1 cent at a time. Even if one day the penny leaves circulation, its legacy will endure. It will live on in collections, where rare cents tell tales of minting errors, war, and scarcity. In museums, where Lincoln's face reminds us of unity through conflict. Or art and literature, where the penny becomes a metaphor for belief, struggle, and transformation. And in personal memory, the coin found on a sidewalk that changed your luck, or at least, your day. The debate will continue. Should we keep the cent, or let it go? On one side, tradition, honor, and memory. On the other, progress, efficiency, and cost. No matter the outcome, one truth remains. The penny has already earned its place in history. To some, it's a nuisance. To others, a national treasure. But to all, it's a reminder that great things often start from humble beginnings. As we close this journey, we ask, what other object, so small, so overlooked, carries with it the weight of centuries? The face of a president and the story of a nation? It is the most modest coin, yet perhaps the most meaningful. In a world rushing toward the future, the penny whispers, don't forget where you came from.